Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am, audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Where we stopped in last class, we already discussed about use case diagram, right? We already discussed about UML, right? Use case diagram, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Then actually, the UML diagrams we classified into structural and behavioral diagrams. Okay, today I will discuss about structural diagrams. So, what the structural diagrams? We can, because we have less time, so I think that use case diagram actually comes under behavioral diagram. Yes, tell me.
When I found out the formula for success and what it means to compete at this level, I want these guys to pick it up early so that the transition with Indian cricket can be very smooth. It should not take youngsters 2 and 3 years after the seniors are gone to build the team again. So I want them up to speed immediately when we are, almost about to step out and Indian cricket stays on top. So my mindset has always been, how can I get these guys match ready? How can I get these guys into a space where it doesn't matter whether the guy bowling or running into bowl has got 130, 140 test matches and you've got 4. If you have more
Hello.
belief in yourself than him,
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I heard something I did not understand. What was it?
No, ma'am, it was just someone's commentary.
Commentary. Are they talking to me?
No, ma'am, they weren't talking to you.
Okay. Okay. So please mute everyone. So UML diagrams, actually we divided into two types of diagrams, structural diagrams and behavioral diagrams. Structural diagram actually represents a static behavior, static structure, static aspect of the system. For example, class diagram, object diagram, components, and deployment diagram. All these diagrams are static in nature, means behavior means like human being. Behavior is changing, means it's dynamic in nature. Static means it's not changing, right? So class diagram, object, component, and deployment diagrams comes under this category. So first we are going to discuss on structural diagrams. These are the behavioral diagrams. Use case, sequence, collaboration, state chart, and activity diagram. Actually, we already completed use case diagram, right? We discussed about use case diagram of ATM, use case diagram of point of sale, I think, and one more, library management. I don't remember it. But anyway, we discussed some 2-3 diagrams, 3 use cases. That comes under behavioral diagrams, dynamic aspect. So you should remember which one is the behavioral diagram, or which one represents the dynamic aspects and which one represents the static aspect of the system. Okay, when it comes to class diagram, you know how to draw the classes, right? How to choose the classes. Actually, what is a class? This concept you already learned object-oriented programming. The same concept, class. What do you mean by class? A class contains, class has a name, class name is there, an attribute is there, and the operations operations are there, right? A class contains attribute and operations, right? So what is a classes? What is a class actually? The object-oriented in Java, C, C++, you learn this concept, right? What is an attribute? What do you mean by operation? If student is a class, what is the attribute? Means the characteristics. Student
Name.
Yes. Student details, whatever details you want to, student address, student PIN number, student class, where all those things comes under student. It's related to its character of that particular class. So we can call it as an attribute. So what is an operation? Operation is doing all that to get the attendance or score, calculate the score. All those things comes under operations of the particular class. So attribute and operations are part of a class. We can call this encapsulation, right? So just remember, you know these things. Then class we can divide as public, private, protected. Different types of attributes are there. A class contains different types of attributes. The public means it's what we call this visibility of the class, right? Visibility of the class. So where that particular attribute is visible or not, within the particular class or from other classes or it's common to all the classes, like that we will divide into private, public, and protected. Right. So here, when you draw the diagrams, you have to know which one comes under private, which one comes under public, protected. When this will help you in coding. Actually, we are doing the design part, right? So plus denote public. If you want to represent an attribute which is public, you just give the plus sign. If it is a private means, you have to give minus sign. If it is protected means a hash symbol. So like that. Here, one class is there. In that class, my class name. Actually, this is the class name here. And in this particular class, attribute 1, 2, 3. 3 attributes are there. The first one is a public one. It's an integer type. Second one is a private one, float type. Third is a protected one. It's a circle. This is what type of data type it is. Is it primary? Same concept here. You already completed how many object-oriented programming languages?
Ma'am, we did not get your question, ma'am.
Sorry? How many types of data types are there? You can define one particular data type, or else you can use a primary data type, right? Integer floater, primary data types. So operations, what are the operations you can give? You can give the operation 1, 2, 3. It does not mention a particular class. So that's why we give simply attribute 1, 2, 3 and the operation 1, 2, 3 like that. Depends, it varies. I will show one example, then you will get. And what are the different types of relationships between the classes? This you have to remember. Association is there. Generally, we are using association, inheritance, then realization, dependency, aggregation, composition are there. When we are drawing UML, you could understand where we have to apply this. So inheritance or generalization, you know what it is, right? What is this? Superclass is there, subclass and subclass means generalization, right? You have to use a generalization. If you are going to draw a subclass which is a part of superclass, you can use this generalization symbol. So we call it as inheritance. Inheritance means it inherits the superclass properties. So shape means a polygon, ellipse. You have used the same, either you can use in this way or in this way. Both symbols are acceptable. We used the same symbol when we discussed the ATM. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This is called generalization. Inheritance means it's same like a superclass and subclass. These concepts are familiar to you. The same concepts we are applying, but here we are discussing about the modeling part. So how to draw those things. Then association also, cardinality. Cardinality, what is the cardinality? You heard about cardinality, right? One to one, one to many, many to many. This is, if you represent, this is a relationship between two. Actually, here one symbol is there, here another symbol is there. So this is the relationship between those two symbols. Then this symbol represents exactly one. One in the cardinality is here 1, 0 to 1, star, 1 to star. So what it represents? If it is exactly one, for example, one account and one account number and account holder. What kind of relationship it is? One account,
1-to-1.
one-to-one relationship it is. But one person can create multiple accounts. That is one-to-many relationships. So like that, whenever we need that type of relationship, we have to represent the cardinality. I will show you an example, then you will be clear. So like that, multiple type of cardinalities there. 1, 0 to 1, star means 0 or more. 1 to star means a 1 or more. Minimum 1 is required. For example, if you want a credit card, you need at least one account. That is mandatory, right? Without that, you can't apply. So that is the one relationship. And example. This is an example. You can see this is a bank ATM. Then one bank maintain one to multiple ATM card, because it depends on the different accounts. There is no restrictions like you should have only one account. There are different types of accounts available, right? So you can go for multiple accounts in a single bank. So that relationship is one to many. And then you will get different ATM cards also. So ATM card, it can contain, first part contain what are the attributes. ATM attribute means its location and who is managed by which bank. That comes under its attribute. And operations means identify and transaction. You can give some operations names. So that ATM, you can see ATM and customer. Bank and customer. Let's say one to multiple customer he will deal, but the customer is dealing with only one bank. So one to the customer to bank. Bank is a single organization. So you have to give one, but a single bank can manage a number of customers, but at least one customer should be there. So one to star, one to many. So then one customer